Okay. Well, good morning and welcome to Mirador Television. My name is Max Hurd. We hopefully will have Keith joining us soon. He's supposed to join, but I'm not sure where he is right now. That's okay. Uh, there's been a lot going on since yesterday we went live. Yesterday we ended up the show talking about Rishi Sunak and who will be the next PM. So we were looking at who else is in the running, and the deadline was Monday at 3 p.m. You needed 100 backers in the Conservative MPs for you to be nominated to potentially be Prime Minister. Now, Rishi Sunak was the only person who got nominated. So you can see by today's title, Rishi Sunak has won by default. Penny Mordaunt did not get enough backing, and therefore Rishi Sunak was the only one in the running. And I would not want his job right now, if I'm honest. Especially with what's heading our way and all that. I didn't like Rishi Sunak in the first place. I think his family ties are questionable at best. But here we are, the third Prime Minister in 6 weeks. Third Prime Minister in 6 weeks. That is a strange thing to say, especially in a Western country. That if it was like, oh, we've had 3 prime ministers in 6 weeks in Zambia, I would be like, makes sense. But here, it's odd, to say the least. But we have the Daily Mail here, as we usually do. And we are going to go through the papers. We're going to go through BBC papers. Let me just pull that up. Lost my place on my phone. Okay, here we go. So this one, the first one is from the Metro. Britain's first Asian PM. Here comes the Sunak. And this is a quote from him. It is the greatest privilege of my life to give back to the country I owe so much to. That is a direct quote from Rishi Sunak. That's him quoted this morning. So that's from the Metro. The Daily Star is the next one. Usually it's the last paper of the day, but here we are. It's got a quite amusing headline from the Daily Star. Prime Ministers of 2022, and it has October Rishi and a nice looking photo of him. It's joking around because we've had 3 different prime ministers each month. Why am I struggling so much with words? So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. August we had Boris. September we had Liz Truss, and October we now have Rishi Sunak. I think he'll make it to Christmas. Absolutely. I don't think he's going to back out. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to last a lot longer than Liz Truss did. Will he? Sorry about that. Will he last until the next general election? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know the answer to it yet. He could well do. He could well make it to the next general election, but I'm not hopeful. Politicians this year have really, really been letting us down. But from the Daily Mail, we have the paper here this morning, as we do every morning. From the Daily Mail, a new down for Britain. Rishi becomes our youngest modern PM and the first with Asian heritage. I don't understand why they always have to go on to the race and gender of politics. It's not relevant. Is he going to be a good prime minister? Probably not. Does it have anything to do with race? No, it doesn't. It shouldn't have. I don't understand why we have to focus on race so much. But we do. From the Mirror. Who voted for you? Question mark. Our new unelected PM from the Mirror. Yet another Tory takes power without winning a single vote. Richer than the king and clueless about ordinary people. That is from the Daily Mail. Richer than the king. I don't believe that. I believe that the royal family have unimaginable amounts of wealth. I really doubt that he's richer than King Charles. But okay, that's what the Daily Mirror says. We have from The Sun. The Force is with you, Rishi. And they photoshopped a lightsaber into his hand for some reason, because the sun. It's saying because he's a big fan of Star Wars, apparently. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, but apparently it does. The first British Asian in the job. Doesn't quite make sense, but I did read that correctly. Okay, first Asian first Asian MP. I don't know why we have to keep bringing that up. The Independent has an interesting headline, which I don't know, but I'll read it to you first. Unite or die, Sunak tells Tories. That's a quote from him, supposedly. I don't see him saying that, but apparently he did. Unite or die. Okay. From the Daily Express. In a historic victory, the new PM, Rishi Sunak, sets out his daunting challenges. Okay. We must unite or die and deliver for Britain. That's a direct quote from Rishi Sunak. That's from the Daily Express. I wish I had got the Daily Express this morning. They have a whole 2 pages dedicated to Rishi Sunak's life, and especially his early life. That's interesting. How old is Rishi Sunak? I think he's 39. Well, I'm not sure how old he is. But we'll move on to the next headline. The Times. Sunak tells Tories to unite or die. Obviously, all the headlines this morning are very similar because this is the biggest news in the country right now. So that was from the Times. The Daily Telegraph. The Daily Telegraph says, "We must unite or die." That's a quote from Rishi Sunak. Did you hear that? Did you know he said that? Did you hear he said that? From The Guardian. We must unite or die. Sunak warning to Tory MPs. Did you get that? He said it. Oh, and Keith has joined. Here we go. We'll bring him in.
Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late, but the train out of Lewis was 20 minutes late this morning, and nobody quite knows why. It was one of those make-up excuses that Southern are famous for. So everything is pushed back by 20 minutes, but I have 20 minutes with you. So you punish me, Max. Beat me to half to death with whatever's happening. I've actually looked at the front pages of the newspaper. and of course it's all about Rishi Sunak. And I'm sure you've been talking about that.
The Daily
But I'm in
Star
your
one
hands
was
as
very
to what we
good.
talk about from here on in.
Did you read the Daily Stars one?
I did, but like all good journalists, I've forgotten exactly what it is. Can you remind me?
So the Daily Stars was Prime Ministers of 2020 on the calendar, and it said October, and in big letters, Rishi. Because in August, we had Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. In September, we had Liz Truss as Prime Minister. And now, October, we have Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister.
Right. I mean, it is the Star always gives a slightly amusing angle on things. I do remember the Mirror, which it just shows how the Mirror was a great newspaper in its day, and now it's just it's gone into free fall, just like the government. But it says Rishi Sunak is an unelected prime minister. We don't elect our prime minister.
We voted for you is the headline. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't elect our prime minister ever. What we do is we elect the person who is standing in our own particular riding, and out of that, the party, the party that has the most seats, then elects, or it already has elected, a leader, and they become prime minister. We have no say whatsoever in who the prime minister is going to be. So I mean, it's a rubbish headline. It shows a total lack of understanding of the way our democratic process works.
Well, we have some say, yeah, but only not much.
No, well, I mean, we don't really. The only say that we have is by putting pressure on a political party or individuals and so on. And in fact, we have seen that a little bit. But even then, it isn't public pressure that's got us into this mess. It's the tail of MPs who are elected but don't hold office. And they really have been dictating who is prime minister and who's not. But you and I cannot vote for the prime minister with one exception. If Maria Caulfield was going to be the prime minister, then yes, we would vote for the prime minister. But other than that, that's who we vote for. We vote for Maria Caulfield and whoever the Lib Dems put up against her. And it's that simple. TikTok.
Yeah. So I can't believe that Rishi Sunak won by default.
Well, I think actually what's happened is the grandees realize that they're in a total mess. And quite often what happens is you opt for a compromise candidate, a safe pair of hands. And I think that Rishi probably is a safe pair of hands. He's not going to do anything dramatic. He's not a reformer. Just for the moment, what they need is to settle the ship because they're all as nervous as old hell that at the next election, most of them are going to get dumped. And they hope that they can turn that around and bring some stability to the ship. Whether, in fact, they can or not, I don't know. They were very, very foolish, in my opinion, to get rid of Boris. It doesn't matter whether you think Boris is good, bad, or indifferent, but to change prime minister with less than 2 years to go to an election is absolute suicide. And that's exactly what is indicated, that they've committed suicide.
And they've done it twice. They killed themselves twice.
Yes, that's right. Well, I mean, this latest shoot in the foot. I mean, if Rishi turns out to be the same thing, is they really have had it. They might as well pack their bags and all go. And perhaps some people are going to take a perverse delight in. I was amongst those that destroyed the Conservative Party. I mean, it's quite possible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at when the next general election is.
It should be about 18 months' time, I think, now.
No, shorter than that.
I've got a young man here who is... come and sit down for a moment. Sure. This is Stephen. right? Say good morning to the world, Stephen. Stephen is the operations manager of London Corporate Training, whom I'm with this week, and he's fairly new to the job, and he's doing a great job. But like all new positions, he's faced with all sorts of problems, and he's handling them extremely well at the moment. So if you think that the government has got problems, they're not alone. But Steve, just explain what London Corporate Training does, just for a minute or two.
They provide training for high-end training for. So if you have a company and you like to provide training for your staff, we carry out different training.
And if you actually want to, sort of high end, as Steve says, get hold of Mirador, because we will put you in touch with London Corporate Training. Any training that we might do is very small potatoes compared to what LCT does. And Steve is the man.
Indeed.
Max, we're going to leave you now, if that's all right, because we've got one or two things to do. And I'm sorry we were late this morning, but the trains, the bus was on time, the trains were not. But Eliza is joining you shortly, is she not?
Yes, she's also going to be a bit late.
Well, are you okay on your own?
Yes.
God bless you. All right, we'll talk later.
Okay, talk to you later. Goodbye. Nice to meet you, Stephen. Okay. We're not going to that. Okay, and welcome back. Unfortunately, Keith could only join us for a very short amount of time, but that is okay. I am here now. I think we've only got one more paper or two more papers to go through. But it says here, I just want to have a look. Wow, the next general election is not due until 2025. That's interesting. I thought Boris Johnson was elected in 2019. Oh, he was. Interesting. Okay. He was elected on the 17th of December 2019. The next general election is January 2025. So, I don't know how many months that is. That's 12. Still a long way to go. We still have a hell of a long way to go until the next general election. My God. Maybe Rishi Sunak can't hold out until the next general election. I really do think that they should have called for a general election, because come on, Rishi Sunak winning by default. No one should be winning by default. That's ridiculous. People should have. if we had had a general election, I'm sure Labour would have won, but I don't care about that. I really do think we should have had a general election. I definitely don't want Labour in charge. Although I have said recently that I hope they do win the next general election, because the reason I hope personally that Labour wins is because I think the Conservative Party needs 5 years out of office just to recoup their ideas and sort themselves out and realize that they wasted 12 years. No, actually, it's 13 now. The Conservative Party have been in charge for 13 years and they've wasted it. They've been in charge for something like 70% of my entire life. They've been in charge for 70% of my entire life, and they have nothing to show for it. So I really do. I hope they get voted out of office, because I think they need to reset themselves and find out where their voters' values lie and where their values should lie. But they're just not conservative. They're just not. They're just not conservative. But we will move on to the final headline from the Financial Times. Sunak set for UK Premiership with a vow to tackle profound challenges. Profound in quotation marks from the Financial Times. I find that fairly amusing. But we do have here the Daily Mail, and we have so at the bottom here they say the financial analysts comments and reporting. See page 2 for 11. So they have quite a large section dedicated to Rishi Sunak. Let me just ask. Sorry, I keep whacking the table and the computer screen goes back and forth. Stop doing that. How old is Rishi Sunak? 42. Rishi Sunak is 42 years old. He was born in 1980. Liz Truss was 47, and Boris Johnson was 58. Okay. Well, so he's the youngest prime minister in modern times. That's fairly impressive. I am personally not a fan of Rishi Sunak. If you know me, I'm not a big fan of the World Economic Forum. But he is a part of all that, as most politicians are now. And one of the big things I really don't like about him is the reason he is so rich. And the reason he's so rich is because he got almost all of his wealth from his wife. And where did his wife get the wealth from? Her father. Now, Rishi Sunak's father-in-law, the reason he is so rich is because he owns some of the patents for the Chinese social credit system. That's Rishi Sunak's father-in-law, and now he is in charge of our country. So that is not a good sign. It really isn't. And I think he's suspicious. I don't think he's trustworthy, but he's a politician. No politicians are trustworthy. Let's be real here. But here in the Daily Mail it says Hunt is likely to survive in the cabinet. New PM prepares his reshuffling today. And they have some predictions here in the Daily Mail. They say Jeremy Hunt is staying, possibly. Staying question mark from the Daily Mail. Suella Braverman returning, possibly. Ben Wallace holding on, potentially. And Kemi Badenoch promoted, possibly. Those are the Daily Mail's predictions. And now I really hope Kemi Badenoch does get promoted through the party ranks. I think she's very good. very good at her job. I would love to see her as our next prime minister. I would love to. She's very good at her job. She's actually a conservative, and she would be somewhat immune from the criticism of the far left wokist types, as she herself is a black woman. What do the left have to complain about? The far left, that is. But I think she's very good at her job, and she's one of the few backbenchers who has a spine, really, and actually, I guess, does their job, which is rare for a politician. But yes, Kemi Badenoch, I'm glad to hear she's possibly being promoted. I think she'll do a brilliant job. They have some more of Rishi Sunak's early life. They have a photo of him when he was young, probably about 12 years old. They have a picture of his in-laws, a picture of his wedding. He was married in 2009, and they have some more information about what he did as Chancellor of the Exchequer. He promoted Eat Out to Help Out scheme in 2020. That at the time sounded like a very good idea, but I'm not an economist, but from what I hear from economists, it in the long run was not helpful whatsoever. Because if you remember the Eat Out to Help Out scheme, that was I think something like 25 to 50% off, but the rest of the meal was then subsidized by the government to restaurants to get people out and about more after lockdown. So from what I hear from economists, not an economist myself to be clear, but from what I hear, in the long run, it wasn't a very good idea. I don't know, I'm just a kid. They have more about Rishi Sunak's personal life. They have a picture of his home in Yorkshire, and they have a picture of his family business. He had a family business called Sunak's Pharmacy. His parents ran. Where it all began, the pharmacy in Southampton that was run by his mother, Usha Sunak. U-S-H-A. Usha. I think that would be how you pronounce it. So that's what else do they have here? They have more about his time in office. Defense budget at risk amid 40 billion black hole. 40 billion black hole, that is, sorry. From the NHS to immigration, what can you expect? And they have all of his current policies on. Well, they have a lot actually here. They have all sorts of his policies from economic to tax, immigration, health, defense, education, Brexit, crime, the union, environment, housing, women, and election. I don't know what his policies on women are, but but the one thing I will say I do like about Rishi Sunak is he said, now this is politicians saying that they will look into things, so probably never happen, will never happen. But Rishi Sunak said he would investigate and go harder on the grooming gangs. So for those of you who don't know, there's a large issue in this country with grooming gangs. It's not reported on at all by the media. These grooming gangs mainly take place in places like Rotherham, Rochdale, Whitechapel. These are some of the most prolific areas, and just general big cities, Manchester, London, or Birmingham. Lots of big cities. It's a problem everywhere. But he said he would go hard on it, which is good to hear. The reason the police haven't gone hard on these grooming gangs is because they don't want to seem racist, which is a ridiculous argument for not punishing people for crime, because it's just, you don't even need a reason for it. That's just a ridiculous reason to not persecute people for committing crime. They won't look into these grooming gangs because they don't want to seem racist. They don't want to start race relation issues, was the direct quote from the Met. The reason Rishi Sunak, I think, will do a good job at looking into these grooming gangs is because these grooming gangs seem to be from a specific background. Statistically, most of these grooming gangs are majority Asian, like Pakistani, Indian people, and Muslims in general. That's why the police don't want to look into it, because they don't want to start race relation issues, which is why I think Rishi Sunak would be good at this job, as he is an Asian himself. He's Muslim. So I think he would do a good job at looking into those, and hopefully we can curb the issue of grooming gangs in this country. Now he's Prime Minister. Boris Johnson and Liz Truss did say they would both go hard on it, but neither of them did. Neither of them did. And neither did the previous Prime Minister before Boris. Neither did the previous Prime Minister before David Cameron, and so on and so on. This issue has been going on for decades, and no one seems to care. They don't want to seem racist, which is a ridiculous argument when you're dealing with crime. But that's why I think Rishi Sunak would be good for tackling those issues. Okay, so I have this story here from the Daily Mail. Let me turn this light on here so I go very pale when I turn that on. But I'm looking at this story here from the Mail, and it says "dummy!" exclamation mark, and it's talking about the eco warriors attacking King Charles' waxwork. They pied him in the face. The eco. Oh God, I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of these people. These are the same people who just threw the soup on a Van Gogh painting. I will try to show you here. But as you can see, an eco warrior. As you can see there, an eco warrior has thrown a cream pie in the face of King Charles's wax figure, which to me seems a ridiculous thing to do. These are from the same people who have been doing the recent string of attacks, attacking paintings, throwing things at them, defacing them. Same people gluing themselves to roads. Just the morons, those people. So yes, eco warriors cream pie the king by throwing a cream pie in his face. That is. Well, I think we're going to go to a break now. Whilst I do have another story, but I can't find it. I've lost my place. So we're going to go to scenes in Sussex. Whilst I try to find the other story. So here we go. This is about 2 minutes long. Scenes in Sussex. Here we go. Okay, and welcome back. So I just found the other story I was looking for. Once again, eco warriors being eco warriors. From what I hear, they're getting on everyone's nerves. Just the general public, everyone's sick of them. I was talking to my mother about this. She's a Green Party voter, and she was saying even she's getting sick of them because they're being endorsed by the people she votes for. The Green Party, some of the Green Party not MPs, but people standing for MPs are endorsing this. But this headline here from the Metro, mashed potato thrown over 96 million Monet painting. So they've thrown mashed potato and defaced a almost £100 million painting. Why? Because of climate change. That's why. That's the only reason. I don't. They have a video here. They always seem to wear high vis as well. I don't quite understand why they do that. Climate change activists have thrown mashed potato over Claudia Monet's French word painting before gluing themselves to the floor. And they did that as well. Okay, I didn't see that part. They have dramatic video footage showing the moment that mashed potato was thrown over the historic piece of art. I don't know why they had to write it like that, but they did. This is from the Metro. And the hashtags on social media that are trending are mashed potatoes, hashtag mashed potatoes, hashtag tomato soup. Those are the two hashtags trending right now. It's a nice painting as well. I can see the before and after. I don't quite know why they always seem to wear high vis. I don't quite get it. They have a quote, not a quote here, but a tweet from the art gallery, and not the artist, but an art gallery. But it's all in a different language, so I can't read that. Thank you so much, Metro, for not translating that. That's helpful. Blah 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 something. Okay, so this comes after the London Central Gallery on the 14th of October, where a can of soup was thrown over the iconic sunflower painting by Van Gogh and then glued themselves to the wall. And these are the Just Stop Oil protesters we are constantly hearing about. One thing you'll notice when you look into these stories of the people gluing themselves to the roads because climate change, one thing you'll notice is they're all either really, really young, like my age, between 18 to 25, young people, or retired. There's never any middle-aged, but like 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. It's all either really, really young people or really, really old people. And the retired people seem to very often be doctors or former GPs. I don't know I don't know why that is, but it seems to be a common theme. Seems strange to me. But we have a couple other stories. We have one about energy, but we will come back to that in a moment. What we're going to do is I'm going to search for a longer clip to play. But first of all, I'll take us down to Grange Park. So here we go. Okay, so welcome back. I'm just trying to find what I'm looking for, but unfortunately, these USB drives are quite unorganized, so I can never find what I'm looking for. This should be it. Program ready. Okay, here we go. So, New Zealand Master Trains. I think we've played this before, but we'll go ahead. I believe this is the correct one. So here we go. It should be correct. Taking a short while to load. Sorry about this. Okay, sorry, we're not. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're not playing that. That is really bad quality. And now I've got my second screen open here, and this seems to be not great quality either. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, we have our Wi-Fi router. This is just the box. But we have this. It usually works well, but I think we need to refill the credit. I don't think it has much left. So that's why the quality isn't as it should be. So apologies about that. But we'll go back to the Daily Mail. I think it was page 3 or 4 or 5. I've lost my place again. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. These are some of Rishi Sunak's policy plans for the future of this country. Brexit. Mr. Sunak voted to leave despite warning from David Cameron that it would end his career. Sunak stuck to his guns. He promised to scrap the reform of all EU laws or I'm not sure what that says. Okay, well, he seems to be pro-leaving the EU, which is a quite good thing. For me, at least, I believe that's quite good. There's a lot here. Okay, from health. Introducing £10 fine for patients who fail to show up for the NHS appointments. That was a policy pledge by Sunak, and pledges to introduce until the NHS backlogs are reduced to manageable levels. I'm not sure about you, but I don't think we'll ever see these manageable levels of the NHS again. Well, they will at some point, but I do think that it will take a good couple of years to sort everything out. Maybe a decade to get all the backlogs sorted, which is a hell of a long time. Because, oh gosh, we are really in quite a state in this country. I mean, we have our American hosts, Suzanne and Melissa, And everyone in America seems to be quite confused about what the hell we are doing in this country, having 3 prime ministers in 3 months. I mean, August, Boris Johnson. September, Liz Truss. October, Rishi Sunak. What? We kind of look from the outsider's perspective, the people from who aren't this country, well, we look kind of stupid right now. And a lot of people are saying that even in this country, that we need to get a grip, and we really do. We need to get a grip. Oh gosh, the next general election isn't for another 2 years. 24 months. I don't think we'll have Rishi Sunak for another 24 months. I don't believe so. I think this is my prediction. If Rishi Sunak gets voted out of office or quits or resigns, the Conservatives will not win another election for the next 10, 15 years. That's my prediction. They certainly won't win the next general election. I mean, look at them. But again, as Keith always says, and he is right with this, a week is a long time in politics. A week is a long time in politics. And he's right. It sure is. Who knows? I mean, a day before Liz Truss resigned, I was saying, I think she might make it till Christmas or just after. Maybe she'll make it till next year. And then Keith said, well, don't be too sure because a week is a long time in politics. I said, yeah, sure, but I really do think she will make it to the end of the year. And next day, she resigns. And he was right. He sure was right about that. So I found that quite funny. I was quite wrong. I was off by about 2 to 3 months. I really didn't think she would. I mean, she's the longest, shortest serving prime minister we've ever had. 44 days in office. The previous guy had 140 something in office, and the only reason he had such a short term was because he died in office. That was our prime minister in the 1800s, a long time ago. Probably not that important of a guy, but whatever, he died whilst in office as prime minister. And that was the shortest prime minister we've ever had until Liz Truss. So, but I did hear a lot about this from women in general, saying that third time's the charm. You know, maybe this will be a good female prime minister. Liz, referring to Liz Truss, obviously. Third time's the charm, and wow, did that third time not go too well. Boy, did it not go too well. But anyway, yeah. She had a rough time in office. Yeah, you know what? It was a good point from the Daily Mail talking about Boris. I do wish we had brought. Sorry, I trip over my words a lot, but I really do hope. I really did hope at the time that we could possibly have Boris back, but that's no, didn't happen. Which is a shame. Would have been funny. He would have been better than Rishi, I suppose, but marginally better. So, what's the difference? Not much. Again, that's why I say that I hope Conservatives, even though I am one, I hope the Conservatives lose the next election, because they need a reset. They need to reset themselves. They need to reset their party. They need to figure out, oh, hang on a minute, what about our voters? Because they've forgotten about us. And we're kind of important for them, you would think. And they've spent the last 13, they've had 13 years. And they've screwed it up big time. They really have. It's a shame, really, how much they've wasted. I mean, I can't think of many good things that they've done over the last 13 years. They really don't have much to show for it. The only thing Boris has to show for it is he had a good vaccine response. And even that, I don't really care about, if you know my politics well enough. I won't go into it because I don't want to get us banned. But that's the only thing he has to show. Oh, I got the vaccine done. I got it quicker than anyone else. Cool. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. You know what I haven't heard much about in the papers, really? Ukraine. That seems to have fallen out of the news cycle quite quickly. I said it would. Not all my predictions are wrong, okay? Not all of them, just most of them. But I said that Ukraine would fall out of the news quite quickly because people would stop caring very quickly. Everyone was doing their, we support Ukraine. We've got the Ukrainian flags in our Instagram bio, or Ukrainian flags in our window, a sticker on the bumper of my car, all that sort of thing. I said that wouldn't last because everyone's supporting Ukraine right now. I don't think people are going to switch to the side of Russian support. But what I said would happen was people are going to start forgetting about Ukraine because their energy bills are going to be going up, and they're going to be saying, no, end this war because I can't afford anything. I mean, in my household, we're not putting the heating on this year at all. We're just having extra blankets. We can't afford to have the heating on. It's too much money. I'm sure many people watching now, I'm sure that you'll be doing the same, just buying extra blankets. And say the heating just costs too much. Octopus Energy, the energy company Keith is with, actually, Octopus Energy offering free electric blankets to their customers. They framed it quite interestingly, I suppose. Octopus Energy said, we're going to be giving our customers free electric blankets to some of our customers, and out of their 3-4 million customers, they're giving out 10,000 electric blankets this winter for people to stay warm. How do you get one of those? I don't know. They're not just sent out randomly, so you have to apply. But they're sending out supposedly free electric blankets to people because it saves on electricity. It's cheaper to plug an electric blanket in than it is to run the heating constantly, from what I understand. It's just ridiculous at this point. There was another story. I need to, you know what I need to do? I need to start writing notes down of what pages I have the stories on. Because I do tend to lose them quite quickly. And as soon as you get to the back pages of the Daily Mail, anything past the Sudokus and the crosswords, it's all just TV guides and adverts. It's nothing interesting. But anyway, we're going to go to a short clip. Just whilst I find the other story, I'm pretty sure it was on my phone. But here we go. We'll just go to some short clips. Thank you.
Well done.
She's got 7 children, lives in America, and
well done, the energy companies. They're full of bright ideas to help their customers. Now they've made power so expensive that for an average house such as this, you can't afford to heat it. So you don't need appliances such as this. But that means you also don't need a fridge, because you can keep your groceries cool and fresh without it. The house is cold enough. Well done, chaps.
Okay, and welcome back. We're now joined by Liza Page.
Hello there. Hello.
We have our show today instead of a Thursday, because Thursday I'm taking the day off. Because I'm busy, I've got things to do. So I switched our days.
Yes.
So you're here on Tuesday with me.
Yes, but we are here.
We're here, yes. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about quite a few things.
Yes, we've got a little bit to discover.
But one of the first things I wanted to talk about was Alex Jones.
Well, yes, I mean, that poor man. I mean, what is all this silliness? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't fine a country that much. What has the man done exactly? He's apologized.
I'll tell you what he hasn't done.
He hasn't killed anybody.
He hasn't killed anyone.
No.
Exactly. But Alex Jones was fined $965 million. We covered this last week. So you're probably wondering, why are we covering it again? But he was fined $965 million. That's $35 million to each individual family of the Sandy Hook school shooting. For those of you who don't know what happened, was Alex Jones was fined because he said Sandy Hook never happened. It was fake. The parents were crisis actors. Let me just be clear. He was 100% wrong about that. He has apologized for that. He's walked everything back. He has said it was a big mistake. He shouldn't have said it. He got false information, which he did. Sandy Hook obviously happened. The parents weren't crisis actors. But he was still fined $965 million. $35 million for each family. Now that's a huge amount of money, almost $1 billion. He doesn't have $1 billion. At the time I said, I think this is political because of who he is. And most people I said that to said, no, $35 million to each family. Whilst that doesn't sound reasonable, that's reasonable in the American justice system, which is a fair point. But Alex Jones' net worth right now is minus $900 million. Minus $900 million.
Yeah. Well, they gave him a big fine too before this second fine came on.
This is the first fine I'm talking about at the moment. But then they have had a second fine. Let me just pull up the article. Where is it from? It's from Bloomberg News. Sorry, 1 second. Here we go. So the jury has already awarded the families $965 million in damages. But what has happened now, and this is not an exaggeration, not a joke, and not false. It's not a fake story. This is from Bloomberg News, a fairly reliable news source. It's kind of like the Financial Times, slightly left of center, all run by the same people. Never really trustworthy. But most of their stories are fairly accurate, I will admit. But I'm a little bit biased. I have family who work for Bloomberg News, so. But anyway, again, not an exaggeration. The families of Sandy Hook have asked the judge to give Alex Jones the highest possible amount of damages. The families are seeking Alex Jones to be fined $2.75 trillion. 2.75 trillion, not billion, trillion. There is no one on this earth
How
who is
many
a
noughts
trillion.
are there in that?
8. A million has 6.
Oh, no, I never dreamt it.
That's 200. I can't. It's such a large amount of money. I can't even comprehend how much that is. But anyway, 2.75 trillion.
What sort
Is
of
somewhere-
size room would you need to house that kind of money?
Actually, an entire country. So I'm just about to say about that.
Oh, so
That
you know,
is
I
between.
mean, the place down the road where they, you hire to put your things in, that wouldn't be big enough, really,
no, a
would
storage
it?
locker wouldn't quite fit.
No.
But 2.75 trillion. That is somewhere between the net worth of France and Canada. You could buy the entirety of Canada for that amount of money. That is unbelievable amount of money, and Alex Jones certainly
Can you buy
doesn't
that
have
without the Prime Minister?
of hopefully. Well, I'm sure you can buy the Prime Minister for that much. Jeez, but he can be bought for anything. Let's be honest, he's a politician.
Yeah.
But that's between the net worth of Canada and France. Canada's net worth is 2.5 trillion, and France's net worth is 2.9 trillion. The entire country's net worth. Let me be clear. Alex Jones does not have that amount of money. No individual human on this earth has that amount of money.
Not even the Arabs.
No, not even the Arabs in the oil industry.
No.
They don't even have that much money.
No.
The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, doesn't even have that much money. He's only got a pitiful. Elon Musk only has a pitiful $500 billion.
Well, can't we pass the hat for him? In case he can't buy himself a decent meal tonight.
Yeah.
Let's try and do something for the poor. I mean, what are we doing sitting here? We should be more benevolent. We really should.
But fun fact.
I mean, the strain that these people must be under.
I know.
Mm.
Fun fact, Elon Musk is actually the richest African American in the world.
It's not African.
Here he is.
Oh, South Africa. Yes.
He's from South Africa.
Yes.
My stepmom's from South Africa as well. She's white. But yeah, Elon Musk is actually the richest African American in the world. So no one don't even start complaining about racism. Thank you very much. Talking about that, actually, did you hear about a lawsuit to Harvard University?
No, I didn't.
Because they had a diversity quota, and they were only taking. They had a section where they were only taking on, quote, African Americans, so blacks and brown people, so they were only hiring African Americans. So a South African man applied to Harvard University under the African American quota. He arrived, and Harvard turned him away immediately because he wasn't black. Even though he was African American, that's what they were looking for. They turned him away and said, "No, you're not black. We meant black people, not African Americans." And a lawsuit was settled, and he got millions from it.
Yeah,
and good for him.
Yes.
So blatant racism, hiring people based on the color of their skin.
Yes.
That happens in this country as well. The government, the police force, and MI6 have a diversity quota. You have to hire so many gay people. You have to hire so many black people. You have to hire
regardless
this
as to
many.
whether they can do the job or not.
It's about diversity and inclusion. That's what that's about. Can you do a good job? Are you diverse? Yes. There we go. We need a diverse person. As Labour always says, we need a a black disabled queer woman of color who's a single mother from a council house.
Okay, you've got the job.
Then you've got the job.
Yes.
And she has to have one leg as well. Yeah. All sorts of diversity quotas.
Yes.
Um,
So what is poor Alex going to do?
He hasn't been fined that amount of money yet, but that's what the families are asking for. But you know what? I mentioned this. Sorry about the police car in the background. That's quite loud. But I mentioned you to this earlier. Whilst I'm a huge fan of Alex Jones, I'm glad that he maybe is being sued $2.75 trillion, even though I am a huge fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, I spoke to some family members recently and said, wow, did you see Alex Jones got sued almost $1 billion? And they said, good, he deserves it. I said, no, this is political. This amount of money is absurd. He didn't kill anyone. He just said words online, which was false information. He shouldn't be sued $1 billion for that. And they said, no, it's not political. Give over. But now he's being sued $2.75 trillion. Now it's obvious to everyone that it's political.
Setting an example.
And I'm glad, because now all the people who doubted that it was political can obviously see now $2.57 trillion.
Ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Mm.
I mean, America is in debt. America is in debt something like 10 trillion. China is in debt by 5 trillion. And then the next largest person in debt would be Alex Jones.
Well,
$2.75 trillion. He's, if that goes through, he would be fined the biggest fine ever in history to anyone, let alone a corporation.
Well, he just declared bankruptcy, didn't he?
Well, he doesn't have that money, so
Yeah.
They're obviously trying to go after him. This is obviously a political attack.
Mm.
Everyone can see it now. So I'm glad he's been sued that much.
So they've really done it all wrong, haven't they? You know, they've
really
overshot the mark.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Because I like Alex. I really do. I think, you know, anyone who sticks their head above the precipice and takes a chance, you know, David Icke, Alex, you know, I think they're very, very brave men.
Yes, so do I. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of David Icke. I don't watch a lot of him, but I do watch a lot of Alex Jones. I do quite like him. You've actually interviewed David Icke, and we're hoping. Yes,
well, I'm a colossal fan of David Icke. So
You've
I'm
been
a
fan
disciple.
of his for 30 years.
Yes, ever since he started. To understand him, you've got to persevere, and those books take a long time to go through, I can tell you, and they're not for the faint-hearted. Read them if you dare, but don't read them at your peril, I tell you, because right now he is probably the most influential man in the world, and he works out of a little one-room flat in the Isle of Wight.
I'm not sure about the most influential man in the world.
Well, come on, who would be the most influential? Fucking Bill Gates. Yeah. Don't get me on that.
Well, money does equal influence.
So he does it without money, you see. Because David is not a wealthy man by any stretch of the imagination.
No, neither is Alex Jones. Well, let's say wealthy. He I think overall he had about 5 or 6 million, which is a pretty decent amount of money. That's enough to live on for the rest of your life. But he reinvested all of his money back into his company.
Who?
Alex,
yeah.
And I'm assuming that's what David Icke does.
Well, yes. I mean, he has the alternative, the Icke Alternative channel, which is excellent. And the way they built this up in a matter of 2 years, him and his 2 sons, I mean, it's so commendable. And I'm well, I can't praise the man enough. Yes, and I did interview him 5 years ago. It was
We're
a lovely
hoping for another one,
experience.
aren't we?
Hoping very, very much so. But he's terribly busy right now, being banned from Holland. He was due to go over there and speak. And some ghastly lady there, don't ask me her name, it's not worth remembering the names of these people for myself, has banned him and said he's anti-Semitic and he's a denialist and all this ridiculous rubbish. Obviously, never read his books, doesn't know anything about him at all. But you see, the Netherlands are owned by Schwab. So doesn't that say everything?
Yeah.
Anyway, David, I saw, said, well, they might ban me from talking. I'm going over there anyway. And he did an interview with a rabbi in Israel. The rabbi seemed like he had a hell of a lot of clout. He was very quiet. He was very, very. It was a very, very good interview with David, and he commended him tremendously. And he sent a letter to this woman who had banned him in Holland, saying, I feel this man has something very serious to offer, and words to the effect, I suggest you rescind what is done. And it was done very politely and very nicely, but I think this rabbi has a great deal of influence, quite frankly, and I think he's going to be okay. Really. But I'd love to go over there and keep him company because, he's so fearless. I mean, these guys are, they're not worried about being assassinated or anything like that. They just get in there and do it.
I would be. I would be.
You would be what?
Afraid of being assassinated?
Oh, God, I would too. Oh, bravery. No, I don't do bravery at all. That's why I admire people who are so terribly brave and are trying to do something for this petrifying world that we live in.
I mean, I'm scared of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm scared of bugs.
Well, you'll be eating them in a minute,
God, yeah.
I mean, the bugs, they're delivering them now by the truckload to children in schools.
Yes, in Wales. A school in Wales has been trialling a replacement for school meals as bugs.
Yes, very nice. Little kids,
It's Wales, so oh well.
Before I am detouring a little bit. We will come back to the subject, but I saw something very interesting. There's a man called Owen Vaughan Morgan, a Welsh government lawyer responsible for writing COVID laws, took his own life after struggling to deal with added pressure at work and the effect of the lockdown and inquest heard. Dad of two, Owen Vaughan Morgan, 44, found dead in Cardiff Woodland on April the 14th last year, after he was reported missing by his wife. His role had involved writing COVID legislations, the hearing was told. Now, this is really one for Norman Baker because it reeks of the strange death of Dr. Kelly to me.
The Strange Death of Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that one is that a book or is that an actual person?
This was a man who they made responsible for entering into Iraq. It was like you lost the Light Brigade, They went down the line and they had to blame someone, so they blamed this Dr. Kelly, Strange Death of Dr. Kelly. Norman Baker wrote a book on it, a very, very good book.
I still want to meet Norman Baker.
Oh, he's a lovely man. I'm very sure you will. But I must phone him up in case he's missed this because it's almost identical to the death that they said that Kelly had committed suicide in a field, taking sleeping pills in a field and cutting his wrist. I think it was. You see, another thing is
this seems to me like those CIA journalists who always expose the CIA and then somehow end up in this horrible car accident where they die in a horrible car fire.
Also, but you see, when it's suicide, they don't have to pay his widow a pension.
What?
No. If your husband commits suicide, you don't get a pension.
You serious?
Serious. Check it out. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes, yeah. But because that was what happened, Dr. Kelly's thing. But I think he knew they were going to kill him, and he said to his wife, "Listen, if anything happens to me, do exactly as they tell you." You know, I'm pretty sure that's what a man in his position would say. And he was not responsible for the Iraq War. They made him responsible. He told them that no, there's nothing there. And then they lied and
weapons of mass destruction and all that.
Mass destruction. Very interesting book, though, that Norman wrote. I'd love to make a film of it. I tell you, I'm always on it.
What book was it that he wrote?
The Strange Death of Dr. Kelly.
Okay.
I've got it at home. I tell you, I will give it to you.
I actually did some research on Norman Baker, and I typed him in, and I looked at some articles, and the first article that pops up is by The Guardian.
Yes.
And it says Norman Baker, UFO obsessed MP. And I was like, okay, this is my guy. I think I'm going to get along with him.
No, you'd like him. He's retired now, but every time I see him, I say, come on, when are you going to come back and run for Prime Minister? Because he's about the only one in the country that's, I think, capable of the job.
Yeah.
He started the investigation into the bank accounts expenses of politicians.
Really?
Yes.
So he wasn't liked by other politicians, I'm assuming.
He's not liked by them at all.
So be careful of wobbling.
Public enemy number one, I should think. But when the book came out, I met Norman for lunch, and I said, "Do you know? I'm surprised you came in with your head on your shoulders." He said, "Well, I covered myself because," he said, "I sold the story to the Evening Standard before it came out in book form." He said, "So if they had done anything to me, it would have been pretty obvious that I was assassinated." So he covered himself, and good for him too. But he's about the only politician I have any respect for at all. So,
you said you have only voted once, and that was for Margaret Thatcher. Did you vote for Norman Baker as well, or did you not?
Yes, I voted for Norman.
So you've only ever voted twice?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But I can't even remember for sure if I voted for Margaret. Can't really remember.
Most women did, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I've always admired Norman Baker. He tried very, very hard for Lewis. And then when they put him up there in Parliament, he said, "No, I've got to get out of this." He said, "It's like walking through mud." So that was during, the other woman was in there, and she didn't like Norman at all. She gave him a very rough time. But that's showbiz.
That's politics.
As they say. But Owen Vaughan Morgan, I know that Norman will be interested in him because the whole pattern is the same. Died in the wood,
Yeah.
Wife worried about his depression. Yes, a whole pattern. Now, he probably knew a bit too much. I did mention last time that Bill Gates is inoculating mosquitoes with the...
Should we go to a short break before we go into that?
Yes,
just to take a breather.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll go to scenes in Sussex again because unfortunately that's all I have. And then we'll go to Grange Park afterwards. So 3-minute break. Oh my god! All right, okay. We'll go to Grange Park because this. I don't know what's going on with my computer. We're constantly having issues with it, but we're going to Grange Park now. Hopefully it works this time and doesn't just cut off immediately. And welcome back. Sorry, we have. I am sorry about the issues we run into. We're using my laptop today.
It's nothing to do with your laptop. You're in love. You know you are.
What? Oh, well, it's. Oh. The laptop's having technical issues. I need to wipe the storage. There's got so much important stuff on there. I can't wipe any of it. But anyway, you had something to talk about, Ursula von Dong, or
Yes,
how do you say her name?
Ursula van der Leyen. I think that's right. Had her fingers in the pie for 71 billion. And it's come a tumble, so they're asking for her immediate
Yes, I'm still
for her immediate reservation. No, not reservation. What is it? Resignation. Resignation. Yes. So they had her all lined up to step into Angela Merkel's shoes. Whether that will still happen or not, I don't know. But 71 billion is rather a lot of money, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
She's well in, you say, with the European Union, but they are coming down like a ton of bricks on her. Good. I'm very glad. Horrible woman. Horrible woman wants to vaccinate the entire world.
And I don't know much about her, actually.
And this, she out of the London School of Economics. They were trying, they were trying to kill her over in Germany. So she came over here and hid out for 5 years and studied at London School of Economics. Then crept back. She's got 7 children who are in America. 7 children, and a husband who is up with Pfizer, has a nice position there. And this 71 billion, it was part of buying a great big bunch of vaccinations that they require. Don't know the full details of it, but they are really out to get her. Well, under the cloak of Trump, and the WEF. So all these people stick together. She's not bad looking, very slim, and not a bad looking woman, but she's the one that said to Italy and Poland, unless you do as you're told, we have the tools. We call her the tools lady.
How do you say her name? Ursula
van der Leyen.
Ursula van der Leyen.
Yes. Yes, the tool lady. We have the
course.
tools.
I know exactly who you mean. She's the head of the or was the former head of the European Union.
Yes, that's it.
Right. Yes.
Ursula.
I'm
Sticky
not sure.
fingers.
I'm not sure how old she
fingers.
is.
She's 63.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, 64. She just had her birthday the other day. 7 children. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, I think, you see, she should be stripped, absolutely stripped of every single penny she's got, her children's trust funds, her husband's, and sent to prison. That would be a suitable punishment. Anybody who stands up so excited, I thought she was about to orgasm, and said, we are going to vaccinate the entire world. That's what we're going to do. That was at the very, very beginning. She had it all worked out very nice. Well, it didn't quite work out like that, did it, Ursula, my dear?
Oh, hello. Jane's joined us. 1 second.
He's
Hello?
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 No.
Can you see me?
Hello, Jane. Good morning.
Can you see me? Morning. I have my students with me
Yes,
from
hello,
France.
good morning.
From Paris. Bonjour, bonjour.
Oh,
Come on,
hi.
tell me.
Bonjour.
How
How
are
are you
you?
this morning?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I'm good, yeah.
Just about to have an English lesson, and I said, "Oh, I meant to be doing a television program." So here we are.
Well, it's all right. If you need to do your English lesson, that's fine. I've got Liza Page with me here this morning, and we're having a good show. We're fixing the world right now.
They look very serious.
What are you over there for, Jane?
You can sit down if you want. I just wanted them to listen, to be fair, to the English to see what they can understand.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, we were just going over some of the stories of today. Rishi Sunak wins by default. I mean, what a ridiculous situation we're in.
I know. Well, maybe he should have got the role in the first place, shouldn't he? Before
Maybe, I don't know, but
before Liz.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sick of the politics right now. The Conservative Party, even though I'm a voter of theirs, I won't be voting in the next election for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is they're all losing the plot a bit. They need to focus on the country and the situation that we're in.
And these, believe me, are a bunch of thieves, and they should go to prison for the rest of their lives. They really should. What they have done, killing these people, these elderly people, during the pandemic, plus these injections which are killing people, they know all this. This is no surprise for them. These people are killers.
Well, as Keith says, all 650 of them need to go.
Yeah, let's just move in. Come on, let's just go. And we can organise the country. Let's just move in.
Yeah, well, we could do a far better job.
Clean slate. Clean slate.
Yeah, I mean, my grandfather is a lifelong Conservative voter. He's never missed an election in his life, and
Really?
he's saying that he's probably just not going to bother voting this year.
Well, as I say, they're not really focusing. It's all like stupid parties sort of squabbling. They're not really focusing. You know, we're heading for a big crisis here and a big recession, I think, and they need to focus. Squabbling. But I mean, it's always been the same, you know, power struggles, Labour wanting to be in. They just go off the point the whole time.
But the thing is, it's our fault because we are standing for it.
Well,
and then when somebody, no,
we can't do much about it.
Yes, we can. We can say no and get rid of the fucking lot. That's what we can do. No violence, just
what's the alternative?
We do not like the way you're doing things.
What's the alternative? What's your idea for an alternative?
Anybody. I can name quite a few people that would do a much, much better job. I really can. I wouldn't mind if these people had a brain, but they don't.
Well,
Well, we were talking earlier.
They're not focused. They don't seem to be focused enough on the
And
issues.
they're all associated with this WEF, which is run by Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates, and they're going for this one world order. It's all planned. That's one world military, one world government, no money, and everyone living on a pittance. And if you dare say one word against us, you'll lose that pittance. Oh, and everybody forcibly vaccinated. That's what they're going for.
I'm not sure if that'll come into place, but I'm sure they would like that.
If we don't do something about it, it will. And this is up to the people.
The Chinese will move in.
This is up to the world. It is the whole world.
Have the Chinese to deal with.
No, it's a Chinese system they're bringing in.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about Norman Baker. Did you live here when Norman Baker was in charge of West Sussex? No, he wouldn't be the MP for your district, would he?
No. We're East Sussex. We're East Sussex, but no.
Oh, sorry, East Sussex. I know what I meant to say. Sorry. Yes, East Sussex. What areas did Norman Baker cover? Was it just Lewis District or
Southeast?
Southeast. Okay.
So he probably was. No. When was that? I don't remember him.
Under Gordon. Under Gordon
Amber
Brown
Rudd. We had Amber Rudd for
and
quite
David
some
Cameron.
time. Right. Okay. I don't know.
But both you and Keith are good friends with Norman Baker, and he's
as both of you say, lovely man.
Yeah, as both of you say, he was the only good one left, and now he's gone.
Yes, who knows what the future is.
Do you think there's anyone who's worth voting for right now?
I don't know. That's tricky, isn't it? I mean, people were joking about bring back Boris. I mean, he's. It's almost like, well, he's the best of a bad bunch, but he's.
That's exactly what I said. Best
too much of a buffoon, really. I mean, he's an intelligent man, but he's a bit of a buffoon as well. But
yeah, he is.
I don't know. I mean, Rishi Sunak, he's successful in his own right.
No.
Well,
Right. So
come on, you tell Jane. No.
Sorry, what was that? I missed that, Jane.
I said he's successful in his own right, so in a way, he doesn't really need the job.
Well, you're right. He doesn't need the job. He's got plenty of wealth, but he wants the control.
Yeah.
And his wife.
His wife is where he gets all the money from.
Yes, his wife is the wealthy one from her parents, who are affiliated with China to bring in these identification tabs. That's what you're dealing with him.
Oh. We're doomed.
I think we might be.
Well, very, very dangerous times we're living in.
That's very strange,
Because all that most people have, unless they're on the internet digging out this information, is the BBC, which don't want anyone to be educated because they're financed by Bill Gates. So all the information on the BBC is highly censored because they don't want people educated.
Well, the BBC have never been really truthful, at least not in my lifetime.
No.
I heard they used to be better. Probably when you were younger.
BBC is run by communists and homosexuals. That's where it begins and ends.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but anyway.
I think that's partially true, but
moving swiftly on. I'm sorry I missed you last week with the grape picking. I couldn't.
No, that's fine. We had a bunch of technical issues anyway.
I didn't know if it wouldn't work from the mobile phone, but I was there in East Sussex picking grapes.
Did you have a good time at least?
Wasn't too bad. I did 3 days, and we had one rainy day. It's a very miserable when it's raining because once you get wet, that's it. It's soaked. So, but the other 2 days it was quite dry. So
Where did you go grape picking then?
Where?
Yeah. Where was it?
Hatherley, near Hailsham, in a
okay.
vineyard called Off the
know the
Ride.
general area, yeah.
It's run by two ladies, quite a small vineyard. They produce just rosé wine, and they've just started producing sparkling wine. So they just won an award for rosé sparkling wine. So
lovely!
A global award, yeah. So yeah, it's good to help them out.
Where can we buy this wine?
Well, they do sell it in Waitrose.
Really?
Yeah, they sell it in Waitrose. She said.
Is that the local Waitrose or the big national store? How big the vineyard is it?
You'll probably find it in Lewis, I would imagine. Yeah, so it has most of the labels have a rose on the label, so you'll spot it by the rose off
Remember
the line.
the name of it?
The wine. No,
Yeah.
you could probably look it. No, hang on, I could probably look it up because they. No, I'm not sure because they do 3 or 4 different bottles, different blends. I'm not sure. We'll get back to it. Come back to it.
I've been doing the show all this week by myself for about a week and a half now. Keith's been away in London. He is today.
Nice.
He's been up doing training. I'm using my laptop this week, so we've been running into a few technical issues.
But nevertheless, we're here.
Yes, we are here. It's been a bit stressful, but we've got it ironed out. It's
right. So the one. Wait a minute. Can you see that? Which way am I going? That way. The Lady of Chaumont is the rosé that they've just won a.
Could you repeat the name, please?
The Lady of Chaumont.
The Lady of Chaumont.
Chaumont. CHARMAT. Just won a global bronze medal. Let's do it again.
Wow.
2022. So they've only just produced that.
Lovely.
Yeah, so what was lovely was we picked the grapes and then we tried some of the pressing. Wait a minute, I've got to go that way. So we tasted it because they'd already pressed the first batch. So
is that hard work, Jane?
It's a bit backbreaking, to be honest. I mean, it's just the angle, and sort of, if the grapes are low on the ground, then it's quite backbreaking, yeah. But it kind of, after a few days, you sort of get used to it. It feels unbearable at times. But then you kind of, maybe you just get a bit fitter, and the walking. So it's nice to be outside in the autumn, when the weather's nice in the autumn. Yeah, it was good. Good. Anyway, I'm going to have to go and do something.
Get back to your English lesson.
Would you like to come and ask my students something? Come around here and ask them something. They're here, they're brother and sister, here from Paris.
Hello there.
Well, you've been to France. What sort of questions? I've never left the country.
Laura and Constantine.
Jen, what is the atmosphere, the political atmosphere like over there amongst the ordinary people?
In Paris?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's all right.
They're 16.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Not that they wouldn't know about politics, but they are 16. So anyway.
I'm 18 years old. Actually, it's my birthday this week. I'm going to be 19 on Friday.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
Happy birthday for Friday.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It was nice to see you. Sorry you couldn't join last week.
That's okay. Yeah, so they're here for a week.
Coming home?
Pardon?
When are you coming home?
You can answer. When are you going home?
Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, have
So
a nice rest of your week. It was nice
Yes.
to meet you too.
Saturday, we're going to a big Halloween party in Bexhill at the sailing club. They have a ghost ship on the beach, apparently, and a ghost tour around Bexhill with 10 actors dotted around Bexhill telling ghost stories. So that should be really good fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it'd be good for Halloween. Woo! Yeah. Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye,
Thank you very
Jane.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Right, I don't know how to get out of it. Hang on.
All right. So what we're going to do is go to a quick break. We'll go to a short break whilst we catch our breath. All right, so here we go.
Well done, the energy companies. They're full of bright ideas to help their customers. Now they've made power so expensive that for an average house such as this, you can't afford to heat it. So you don't need appliances such as this. But that means you also don't need a fridge, because you can keep your groceries cool and fresh without it. The house is cold enough. Well done, chaps.
Hello, and we are back. So,
Do you know that Lyndon Johnson, who took over from Kennedy after Kennedy was assassinated, was talking about how they could manipulate the weather? That was in 1965.
really?
Yeah. So can you imagine what they can do now?
Yeah, they can do a lot more. Well, that's how technology works. Apart from the moon landing, we lost all the technology from that, coincidentally.
What was that, sorry, Danny?
The moon landing. I said technology.
Did we go?
the technology always moves forward, except for the moon landing. We can't go back to the moon, apparently.
Did we ever go there?
Of course we didn't. Of course we didn't.
Yeah. I think it was Spielberg, wasn't it, that made that film?
Possibly.
He also made Eyes Wide Shut. Do you remember?
Yes. No, that wasn't Spielberg. No, that was
No, it wasn't Spielberg at all.
the guy who did The Shining.
Yeah. My memory, oh boy.
Oh, for goodness sake. What was the producer's name from The Shining? Why can I not think? Well, that's helpful. I searched up on Google who was the producer's name from The Shining. It said Warner Brothers Pictures. That's obviously not what I was looking for.
Who was the director?
Director of The Shining. Stanley Kubrick, of course.
Stanley Kubrick, yes. And he was asked to remove some scenes from Eyes Wide Shut, and it took them forever to make that film. And he didn't want to remove some of the stuff. It was strange that he died quite just a short time after that film was released.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
Yeah, he died, I think, a year after, not even a year after that film was produced.
Yes.
What did he die of? He died on March the 7th, 1999.
Sorry.
That's all right. I don't know how he died. What did he die of?
Ask
Okay.
your magic machine. They'll probably
Cause
say
of death.
unknown causes, probably.
A heart attack in his sleep.
Oh, yeah.
New York
Thank
Hotel.
you. Always a heart attack.
Yeah, it's always a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yes, he died in a hotel room, not at his home.
Yeah.
Heart attack in his sleep.
That would follow. Yes.
My magic machine. Honestly. For goodness. They also have here on Google's what was Stanley Kubrick's last words, and they have what his last words were.
Don't do it.
His last words were, "Let's think about what we're going to do tomorrow."
I wonder who he said those last words to.
I don't know. That's from Forbes magazine, apparently. So
Yes.
But my grandparents actually own the fridge, the refrigerator from the opening scene of The Shining, the actual one that was used on the movie set and in the film. Yeah, they have it they have it as their beer fridge.
Very nice.
That's really cool. I want that. I want that fridge. It's so cool. It's a proper 50s style. It's very nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stanley Kubrick. He is supposedly who did the moon landing video. Supposedly, kind of has that Che Guevara look. To be honest, do you see that?
Yes, especially the picture at the end. Yeah.
The first two photos.
How old was he when he died?
It never says the age. It says you have to work it out yourself. So he was born on 1928, and died in 1999. So he was 70. No, 81. Is he 81? I struggle with maths. Yeah, he was 81 years old.
How long ago did he die?
He died on
Was that film's quite old,
1999. What was it called? Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
1999
Nicole
it came out.
Kidman and
Eyes Wide Shut came out in 1999. He died shortly after in 1999.
Yeah.
Oh no, he died at age 70.
Well,
That's not that
he
old.
wasn't exactly an old man, was he? You know, and he'd had a good life. I mean,
I think
he'd made a few bucks, so to speak.
When I'm talking to you and Keith, I think our definition of old is a little bit different.
Yes, it is. Yeah, yes.
What would you say is an old person?
Well, nowadays, it
Would you say 84? Because you're not old yet.
Piss off.
What would you say the ages for being
But
old?
it varies, but they say that 80 is now the new 60. You know. But I know 40-year-old people who are old. Struggling on the old Zimmer to get out and get a bit of shopping and the whole thing. God bless them for hanging in there. But most of it, and they think, she said, oh, yeah, and I am 70, and there's a compliment on that. I mean, well shot, It depends if you take care of yourself, and it depends on if you've had a hard life.
Well, you've taken care of yourself all of your life, so you're.
Well, I was in show business, and people in show business generally do take care of themselves.
They have to,
because
otherwise
if you don't,
not in show business for long.
Yeah. It's sort of a discipline that you have. And even if you're not working, you've got to be like a prize fighter continually in training.
Yeah.
It's a tough old business. But also, I think one of the benefits that I have had, because I've never driven a car, so I've done a great deal of walking.
That definitely helps, yeah.
I think it does, yeah.
And when you were my age, you didn't have all the fattening sugars that were in every drink.
No.
And all the really bad food for there's almost nothing left that's good for you.
Very difficult. You can't get the food anymore.
Unless you grow it yourself.
No, exactly. You just can't get it. The soil is, so depleted. Shocking. Very bad state of affairs, but it's not irreparable. You get the right people in there, get rid of some of these evil monsters, get the right people in. We could start to have good lives, yeah.
Yeah, but get the right people in. Who are the right people?
Well, I'm starting to think anybody other than what's there.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Because these people are so evil. I've finished that book, The True Word of Dr. Fauci.
You finished
by
the book?
your man. Yeah. Oh, well, I've got to read it again. Of course, I have, because it's so in depth. But Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci, the millions and millions of people that they have killed with these poisonous injections that they knew was poisonous.
Can I say about that, actually? Bill Gates did an experiment on a bunch of African children.
Oh, specialized on children,
I
specialized on
can't remember what. I think it was for polio, maybe. He was testing the polio vaccine on some children in Africa, and what happened was they all died. And
yes.
do you know what his response was when being questioned about it? His response was, "Well, these things happen."
Yeah, and he's still saying that.
Everything's going all right on. So what else is there?
I thought I had more than I had.
Interesting. Okay.
Did I say Ray Kurzweil is talking about attaching the human brain to the global cloud?
No, you didn't, but you didn't talk about this. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about that yet.
Yes, and now it's costing, what they're doing is they're putting 4 million low orbit satellites.
4,000.
4,000 low orbit satellites are being put up via this star system. Starlink system is being put up by Elon Musk.
Well,
another way to take over human society is through robots.
Can I just say about the Starlink for a
Yes.
second? Elon Musk gave free Wi-Fi to Ukraine. He immediately put Starlink into orbit to give Ukrainians Wi-Fi from wherever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And he just last week actually revoked that. He got rid of the Starlink satellites
Mm-hmm.
that were helping the Ukrainians because the guy who runs the country, Vladimir Zelensky, he started talking about Elon Musk in a bad way, and Elon Musk said, "Well, you can't have my product then. Goodbye."
Oh, yeah.
So that was interesting. That only happened last week.
Well, I mean, that guy over there in the Ukraine, he's getting very rude and saucy, isn't he? I mean,
If my
up.
country was being attacked, I'd probably be like that a little bit as well.
Well, I think people have been very generous to him, America and Europe, sending him all this money when we don't have the money ourselves.
Yeah, they're sending him billions, and he's
moaning and saying we're being ungenerous and we should be sending more, while people here can't pay their electricity bills.
You know what? Everyone was supporting Ukraine when it first started. Oh, look, I've got my Ukrainian flag in my Instagram bio, or on my the sticker on the bumper of my car. But now that everyone's prices in gas and electricity have skyrocketed, I don't see much support for Ukraine anymore.
Well, they've woken up. I mean, we weren't having any rows with Russia before all this started on. You know, we were getting on civilly. You know, and all of a sudden, you know, Putin, terrible, dreadful man and all that, when they haven't been too nice to him and a little bit salty, so he says, right, I'll have Ukraine. But the war is just a distraction. Come on, we've been through all this, Max. It's just that COVID was dying down, so now we'll terrorize them with an atomic bomb, you know.
Nuclear war isn't going to happen. Everyone says, oh, well, nuclear war, give over.
No, we've been through this too. Especially, they're not going to drop anything on Britain, I promise you, because it costs far too much money. You see the repair when they drop these bombs. That takes years and costs a fortune. But did you know they are already sending in North Koreans to repair the Ukraine?
North Koreans?
Yes.
Not the South?
North Koreans.
Really?
Yes.
I thought North Korea were on Russia's side. That doesn't sound right.
Well, they're on anybody's side. You got the money, darling.
Did you see whose side Israel is on?
I haven't been checking up on them lately.
They're on the side of Ukraine.
Oh, they would be. Yes.
They're also on the side of Russia.
Yeah, we're hedging their bets. I mean, it's it's like owning 2 football teams. It doesn't matter which one wins; you own both of them.
Fair enough. Yes.
Shall
we go to another break, because we're having the Wi-Fi is just cut out, so I don't know how long we have left. So, just going to go to a short break. If we disappear, sorry about that. Hopefully, we won't. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. Our Wi-Fi
Did you do
thing
that?
is. Oh no, I didn't. Sorry, we're back. But our Wi-Fi thing has given up. It's stopped turning on.
It doesn't like us today, so it's
Didn't like us yesterday either.
Well, what have we done wrong?
There's nothing wrong. Just getting stressed because of the stupid. Anyway. What story do you have here then from the Daily Mail? What's this?
That's handy. Dad gets pay chip implant under the skin.
What? Are you kidding me?
No. I didn't bring my reading glasses with me. I do apologize. I rushed out of the house this morning to get here on time. There are a few things more frustrating than realizing you've left your wallet at home after reaching the supermarket checkout. But father of two, Arne Stoke, has this situation well in hand. He has had a tiny payment chip fitted under his skin. Instead of fumbling around for cards or cash at the till, Mr. Stoke only needs to place the back of his hand against the contactless reader. The NHS healthcare assistant read about the device online and had his fitted in Cologne. It took less than 15 minutes to insert the chip, which is about the size of a safety pin and less than 6 millimeters thick, under the skin at the top of his hand. Local anesthetic numbed the area while while it was put in. Mr. Stoke paid for it himself. Spent 300.
It wasn't even part of a trial. He paid for this himself.
Paid for this himself, yeah.
All right. Well, we've got the gist of the story. We don't need to read the whole thing.
Thank God for that. It's making me ill. But now I've been telling people about this.
The Daily Mail. That's handy. Dad gets chip implanted under skin.
But, 5 years ago they were doing this in Brighton and paying for it. This is not, it's nothing new.
No.
And this is what we've been discussing, you and I, ever since we've known each other. It's all part of the one world. All designed to get into our brain and attach our brain to the cloud.
Okay. All right. We're gonna.
Stop this, can we?
Oh, well, no, that's a good story to end off. We're gonna have to end it. The quality is too bad. We're gonna have to go. Sorry about this. Our Wi-Fi router has given up. It won't turn back on.
But we know you love us anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you for turning in. Thank you for your time and attention. And I hope maybe we've been a little bit of help somewhere down the line.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.